Okay, you're live.
Okay, you're not heavily there. Now this is your mic. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So start talking. I'm going to run the lyric to check the sound.
Tell me where to start.
You can start now.
Okay. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I greet you on this, the fourth day of the blessed month of Ramadan, with the greeting of Ramadan Kareem. Ramadan Kareem. On this day, of course, you may be in another part of the world, and it's not the fourth day for you; it's the fifth day for you, because we do not have all this ummah on the same day, beginning the fast of Ramadan. That has never happened in history. So, on the first day of Ramadan, we recited, as you know, Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Al-Fatiha plus Surah Al-Baqarah. And on the second day, Surah An-Nisa. And on the fourth day, which for us is today, we recite Surah Al-Ma'idah. But if it is your fifth day, maybe in India there are some of you who have the fifth day today, then you'll be reciting Surah Al-An'am. So I gave you the chart of which surah, which is the juz for each day, are all days of Ramadan. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might accept our fast of Ramadan. I mean, they might accept our tilawatul Quran or recitation of the Quran in blessed Ramadan. I mean, that He might accept our Salatul Taraweeh, even if we are not allowed to go to the masjid. We're not allowed to have Salatul Taraweeh bil Jama'ah, and it is not a Jama'ah if you are standing so far apart from each other, you can drive a truck between you. That is not a jama'ah. That is bid'ah if you tell me that is a valid salat. It is not a valid salat bil jama'ah. No, valid salat bil jama'ah is you must stand shoulder to shoulder with no space in between, so shaitan cannot come in between you. But when you stand so far from each other, shaitan and probably 1,000 shayateen can come and stand between you. It is so funny. So that may Allah accept your Salatul Taraweeh. Yes, I am performing my Salatul Taraweeh at home, and you can do the same. Uh, if you have not been able to memorize passages of the Quran, they use short passages of the Quran for Salatul Taraweeh. uh, Whether or not you can look at the Quran while reciting Salatul Taraweeh. You can look at the Quran, have a big Quran by your side. Uh, some of the muftis, I believe, accept it. I'm not a mufti, but I've seen it being done, and I see no reason why we should not accept it for those who have not memorized. But the better thing is stop wasting your time and do some memorization so you'll be able to recite some passages of the Quran in Salatul Taraweeh. And of course, I said this is the month of charity. This is the month, first of all, to turn to those who are in need and help them. And because of the lockdown, there are so many who are the poor and most vulnerable who can earn nothing during this month. And so do not, this is only advice, this is not a command. Do not eat your food to break the fast if you have the means, before you take some of that food and give it to the poor. Hmm? So there you are. This is the month to pay your zakat, and we don't have the state anymore. So your zakat is like sadaqah, and you give your zakat, and those who are most vulnerable are not only children but mothers who do not have a husband to maintain them, children who do not have a father to maintain them, and single women who do not have a husband or father to maintain them. These two, please give your zakat first of all to these people who are the most vulnerable, the women who live alone with no one to maintain them, and the mothers with children who have no one to maintain them, give your zakat to these people. I have the map of Africa behind me here. One of the favorite parts of the world for me. This is Cape Town over here. I This is the most beautiful city in the world for me, Cape Town. And if you are in Cape Town and you're viewing this, you must be very happy. I have visited Cape Town so many times. Uh, and this is Port Elizabeth, and this is East London, and this is Durban over here. I have been to Gaborone in Botswana several times. Uh, I even went to Harare in Zimbabwe once. I've never been to Mozambique. I've never been to Namibia. So we have something behind me tonight to be of some interest to you. The first question, which has been sent, is Sheikh, if we started Ramadan on the wrong day, what do we do? That's the question which has been posed to me. And I want to return, and those who are fed up of me can find someone else to go and entertain them or to teach them. I want to return to the Quran and to the particular ayah in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the fast of Ramadan obligatory. Now listen carefully. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. The month of Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was sent down. هدى للناس, it was sent down as guidance for mankind. وبينات من الهدى, with the evidence, clear evidence that it is indeed guidance. والفرقان, and it distinguishes between truth and falsehood. It distinguishes between error and guidance and so on. فَمَنْ, listen carefully, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ. Let me repeat it one more time. فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Allah gives a command to fast. And the command is given to those who witness the month, those who have evidence that the month has commenced for them. He is given the command to fast. فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ. What is shahada? Where is the evidence that you must have before you fast? Where is the evidence that you must have before you fast the month of Ramadan? Should I repeat that question 100,000 times for the deaf and the dumb and the blind who have been like sheep all their lives following some piece of paper? فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Allah is ordering you to fast when you have the evidence that the month of Ramadan has commenced. That is what the Quran says. Well then, what is the evidence that the month of Ramadan has commenced? Is it a telephone call from Timbuktu? Is it, well, my neighbor out there who used to live with me in Los Angeles when I was a boy, where he called me and he said to me that we saw the moon in Los Angeles, but I'm in London. Is that evidence? فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ. Listen carefully. Otherwise, you'll lose your Ramadan. You will be fasting for the whole of Ramadan, but it will not be accepted because you're playing games with evidence. You're asking others to do the work of providing evidence when you're not using even elementary common sense to seek evidence. Allah wants you to look for evidence in the comments. Don't send that work of seeking evidence by Federal Express for somebody else to do. The evidence that the month of Ramadan has commenced will not come from any government today. They don't have the authority. They do not have the authority to declare anything because they're not ruling by Allah's law. The Quran asks that you must rule by Allah's law. It does so when Allah speaks to Nabi Dawood alayhi salam. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا داود إنا جعلناك خليفة في الأرض فاحكم بين الناس بالحق. O David alayhi salam, we are hereby appointing you as Khalifa to rule on earth. You must therefore establish rule, establish law, establish government on the basis of truth, and truth comes only from Allah. Are they doing that? Those who say that they have the authority to declare that the month of Ramadan has commenced and I have to obey them, get lost. You don't have any authority to declare to me. For the sheep and the cattle and the goats, yes, they follow anybody. They even follow Dajjal as well. But for you and I who still have the capacity to think, for you and I who still have the capacity to think, and we don't want to lose the month of Ramadan. All our fasting a waste of time other than starvation because we've lost Ramadan. Because we started the month of Ramadan without evidence. Without evidence. Huh? Some bogus mufti declares that the month has started. Where is the evidence? I'll tell you where the evidence is before I answer the question, what should we do if we started the month on the wrong day? Listen carefully. And even a little schoolboy can understand it. So you have no excuse on Judgment Day when you learn to your misfortune and to your horror that you lost your Ramadan. You have no excuse because even a schoolboy can understand. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent us, Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wa ta'ala. Sometimes the month has 29 days and sometimes it has 30 days. That's what he said. And so at the end of the 29th day of Shaban, on the condition that you did not act like a like a donkey to start Shaban on the wrong day, like a donkey. At the end of the 29th day of Shaban, you must look for the moon. You never even looked up in the sky on the 29th day, and you have the audacity to come and waste my time? Huh? What nonsense! You never even looked up in the sky. You don't even know which part of the sky to look because you abandoned Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. You abandoned the Quran and now you come to me wasting my time? Huh. In our civilization from childhood, we always looked up in the sky to look for the moon. Every child did that. But you living in Monkey Town today, you've lost it. Hmm? So I don't know how you're going to solve that problem. You've abandoned the religion, and today you want us to solve your problems for you. You have to look on the 29th day. When the 29th day has come to an end, look up in the sky to see whether you see the moon. In which part of the sky? Look where the sun is setting. Don't tell me I'm living in that part of the world where you could never see the sky. The sky is always cloudy. How can I solve your problem? You're living in the wrong place. Find somebody else to solve your problem. Don't waste my time. Look up in the sky. In London, they looked in the sky. And at the end of the 29th day, they didn't see the moon. Nowhere in Britain did they see the moon at the end of the 29th day. Clouds or no clouds are irrelevant if you did not see the moon because it was cloudy, or if you did not see the moon despite the fact that there were no clouds. The fact is, you did not see the moon. Did you look for the moon before you come to waste my time? Did you look for the moon? Or did you depend on Tom, Dick, and Harry to do it for you? Hmm? Don't waste my time. I am here to teach those who want to be sincere with the deen, not those who play games with the deen. My time is important to me. Don't waste my time if you're playing games with religion. But if you have sincerity in your heart, I have to give time to you. So nobody in Britain saw the moon. Nobody. At the end of the 29th day. And if you do not see the moon at the end of the 29th day, then Allah's messenger said that the month will continue for one more day. When you see the moon at the end of the 30th day, and now the new month has started, please don't waste my time with this load of total and absolute rubbish. Oh, Sheikh, look, that is a big moon. That moon is about 2 days old. Leave that rubbish out from me. Go take it into some garbage bin. It is irrelevant. Indeed, our prophet prophesied that you will do that. Yes, he prophesied that you will do that. Yes, it's there. We are not concerned with the size of the moon when we see it at the end of the 30th day or at the end of the first day of the next month. That is irrelevant. Don't waste my time. Take that rubbish somewhere else. I hope I've spoken harshly enough. Okay. I'm sorry I have to do this, but we have so many foolish people around us today that the rest of us have to be, our patience is being tested with these fools. Okay? So at the end of the 29th day, if you do not see the moon, you you have to accept that the month will continue for one more day because you do not have the evidence, the shahada, the evidence. Allah has commanded you. He said, "Faman shahida, faman shahida, faman shahida minkum shahr falyasum." The evidence is not in some stupid chart drawn up by some Tom, Dick, and Harry. The evidence is in the sky. Look up in the sky. I know I'm taking a long time with this subject, but we have so many foolish people who don't think. So now you started on the wrong day because you followed Dajjal's kingdom of Saudi Arabia. What do you do now? You started on the wrong day because you followed some foolish, misguided mufti. What do you do now? Particularly you who are in Britain. Hmm? What you do is you make tawbah. You recognize that you did wrong. You don't want to lose your fast of Ramadan. No. You don't want to lose your Laylatul Qadr, because when the angels and the Ruh, Jibreel alayhi salam, when they come down on Laylatul Qadr, they will check to see which day did he start. Did he follow the order? فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ, or did he start on the wrong day? When the angels and the Ruh, when they learn that you started Ramadan on the wrong day, nothing for you. Nothing for you. You lost your Laylatul Qadr. And this is the most important night of the whole year. Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alf shahr. And so you make tawbah. You seek forgiveness from Allah. You commit yourself to be more careful the next time and not be so careless, and pray that Allah might accept your tawbah and forgive you, and that this may never happen again. And now you count the days of Ramadan the correct way, because we did not start fasting on Yawmul Jum'ah because we did not see the moon. But those who did see the moon, yes, their first day of Ramadan was Yawmul Jum'ah. We pray that we will not have this confusion for Yawmul Eid. Next question, please. We have her.
5G and
Yes,
network.
this is a very big problem, a very big subject. And from Sri Lanka, yes, I got the question. From India, I got the question. I'm getting a lot of questions from India. Yes, more questions from India than I'm getting from Algeria, one of my favorite countries, although I have not visited it yet, is Algeria. The question is, Sheikh, is there any connection between 5G, the internet connection, the electromagnetic waves, through which you have the internet connection and telecommunications and so on? Is there a connection between 5G and the coronavirus? And is this connected with the Batul Ard? Hmm? I will have to take half an hour to answer this question, because the Batul Ard is in the Quran. Gog and Magog are in the Quran. Tell me, if you are listening, tell me. And others who are not listening, reach out to them and ask them. If Allah speaks on a subject in the Quran, it is there in the Quran. And Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam also speaks on the subject in the Hadith. But the Quran is absolutely authentic, protected by Allah. And even the best Hadith does not share that same status. My answer, and I hope your answer as well, is that we will study the subject first in the Quran. And having studied the subject in the Quran, we will then use the hadiths which are in harmony with the Quran to enhance or to augment our study of the subject. With that, this is usul al-tafsir. Usul al-tafsir means methodology for the study of the Quran. We would begin our study of the subject with the Quran. What does Allah say on the subject? Subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is a way to study the Quran that my teacher of blessed memory, Maulana Dr. Muhammad Fadlur Rahman Ansari, taught me. And then later on in life, I found it in the Quran where Allah speaks about this, the stars, yes, in Surah Al-Waqi'ah. But I have a book on the subject methodology for the study of the Quran and several lectures on the subject of methodology for the study of the Quran. So there is a way to study the Quran. So when you have studied the Quran on that subject, then you can take the ahadith which are in harmony with the Quran to expand your understanding of the subject. And so when it comes to Dabbatul Ard, when it comes to uh, Gog and Magog, which are there in the Quran, not mutashabihat. I'm talking about muhkamat. Muhkamat means verses of the Quran which are plain and clear and not in need of any interpretation. Mutashabihat means verses of the Quran which have to be interpreted in order to be understood. So Gog and Magog are in the Quran. Dabbatul Ard is in the Quran. And you have to therefore go and study the subject in the Quran, first of all, not the Hadith, first of all. So, having explained this methodology, which I don't understand why you don't mind, it'll take me half an hour at least to do that. And I don't have the half an hour now. But you have the time. So if you can go to my website and download my book on uh, Dajjal, the Quran, and Awwalul Zaman. Awwalul Zaman means the beginning of history, the beginning of history. And my second book on the Quran, Dajjal, and the Jasad. These two books are enough. And in these two books, I have dealt with the subject of Dabbatul Ard in the Quran. Dabbatul Ard is a creation of Allah, something that Allah created, but it is something which the Quran says will harm or will wound people. When the Quran was revealed, it was revealed not as a written document, it was revealed as a recitation. But you know that. You know that already. Everybody knows that. And it was subsequently reduced to writing. And he who could not read and could not write, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, he would ask the scribes when they have recorded, he would ask them to recite and he would then confirm. So he is confirming what he's hearing. He's not confirming what he's seeing. He's confirming what he's hearing. So when they wrote the Quran, they did not have the diacritical marks, the fatha, kesra, and dhamma. And so one word in Arabic could be read different ways. And only if you heard what he said, you would know which possible different ways of reciting a certain word. Here is a stunning example. The Dabatul Ard would taklimuhum or tukallimuhum because mankind was negligent of the signs of Allah. Which one is it? Taklimuhum or tukallimuhum? Both are there possible. If you take off the Arab, then you can have either this or that. Nearly every single copy of the Quran today that is recorded in writing has given us tukallimuhum. The Dabbatul Ard will speak. Dabbatul Ard will speak. And when you speak, others will be able to hear. If you speak, you will have to speak in a language because language is used to communicate. Hmm? And Dalbatul Ard is going to speak to human beings, not to the trees. So that Dabbatul Ard will have to speak in a human language. Do you differ with me? Really? Which language is Dabbatul Ard going to speak in? And unless and until you are confronted with a Dabbatul Ard who is speaking in a human language, how can you recognize him to be Dabbatul Ard? So those of you who are convinced that this is the correct rendition of the verse, that Dabbatul Ard is going to speak, you will have to locate which language, and you're going to have to wait for that day. You better find a comfortable sofa on which to sit down because you got a long, 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 long wait ahead of you. It's like those who are waiting. Excuse me for laughing. It's so funny. Those who are waiting for the mountain of gold to come out from underneath the river Euphrates. But there are others of us who say, no, that is the wrong rendition of the word. The word, when it was spoken, was taklimuhum. But because there was no Arab, looking for Dabbatul Ad, look for something which will be damaging to human health, which would wound people. Okay? Secondly, the crucially important verse of the Quran for identifying the Batul Ad is the verse pertaining to Sulaiman alayhi salam, to the death of Sulaiman alayhi salam. And when he died, remember that the shayateen were ordered. The shayateen, what is shayateen? Shayateen are the jinn who are disbelievers. There are jinn who are believers and there are jinn who are disbelievers. Someone wrote to me and said, Sheikh, whenever you use an Arabic word, could you kindly? We are not Muslims. We want to know what you're talking about. We're listening to you. So whenever you use an Arabic word, could you kindly translate it for us? Okay. So the shayateen are jinn who are disbelievers. And in the Quran, we are told that Allah commanded that they must work. They are subjected to the authority of Sulaiman alayhi salam. And so they have to obey every order that comes from him, Sulaiman alayhi salam. But if someone takes them for a ride, deceives them, and gets them to believe that he is Sulaiman alayhi salam, and they are deceived and they accept him. And suppose that fellow is Dajjal, mhm, and Sulaiman alayhi salam is dead. Yes, but they don't know he is dead because they're in another world of time and they're in chains. They don't know he died. And this fellow is holding on to the staff of Sulaiman alayhi salam and sitting on his throne and giving orders. And they believe he is Sulaiman. Up to this day, they believe he's Sulaiman alayhi salam. And they're obeying all his orders and he's giving very evil orders, eh? Very evil orders. So long as he's holding on to this stuff, the stuff has miraculous qualities in it. And because of this stuff, they can see images of Sulaiman alayhi salam walking and talking, even though he's dead. So the Quran says, when Sulaiman alayhi salam died, the jinn never knew that he was dead. And they continued to obey, therefore, continued to obey whoever the Jasad who was sitting on the throne And if you, I can't tell you what is jasad now. You have to go to my book. It takes too much time. Um, they did not get the evidence, nothing to convince them that Suleiman was dead already. Until when? Until Dabbatul Ard came. And when Dabbatul Ard came, it consumed the minsa of his staff. It did not say that it consumed his staff. The Quran never said that Dabbatul Ard were termites nibbling at the bottom of the staff so that it would lose its balance. That belongs to Hollywood, or Disneyland. I don't know which one. Or both Hollywood and Disneyland could take it. But the Quran never said that. The Dabbatul Ard are termites who are biting away at the bottom of the staff. And yet, when you look in the books of tafsir, this is what you find. This nonsense. It is nonsense. I'm sorry to be using this language, yes, but what can I do? The truth has to be proclaimed. It is nonsense. The Quran never said that Dabbatul Ard consumed the staff. The, the Quran said the Dabbatul Ard consumed the minsa'a. This is with seen, and that the word of the staff, the sa'a is sad. The minsa'a. The minsa'a is something located in the staff, some miraculous quality of the staff, which when it was consumed, meaning when it was destroyed or eliminated, then the staff lost its capacity to do the things that would deceive the jinn. And only then would they realize that no, this is not Suleiman alayhi Islam, this is someone else, this is the Jasad sitting on the throne. And I have said that Jasad is Dajjal, that Dajjal is Dajjal. And so there is something which is coming to the world, which is going to destroy the miraculous quality located in the staff. And in my book, which was written before 5G came into the world, I came to the conclusion, and Allah knows best, I can be mistaken. I have made mistakes in the past, and I'm happy that I made mistakes because whenever I make a mistake and I realize that it's a mistake, I rush quickly as possible to correct myself. I don't care two peanuts if people want to laugh at me. Never mind, I have to show integrity. And I'm leaving this message for my students. We all make mistakes. Only Allah does not make mistakes. And my critics, of course, they never make mistakes. So when you make a mistake and you realize you made a mistake, you must be very quick to correct yourself. Yes. So I made mistakes in the past and I can be mistaken again. But I will not teach you something unless I'm convinced that I'm correct. And I came to the conclusion, this is my wheel, that Dabbatul Ard is precisely the electromagnetic waves or radiation coming from from the internet and what is called the um, making the internet possible. And it is increasing from 3G to 4G to 5G. This, in my opinion, is going to cause the staff to lose its minsa. And when the staff loses its minsa, then at that time, the Dajjal will no longer be able to deceive the jinn and they will stop obeying him. And that's goodbye. Goodbye to the state of Israel. Now, is there a connection between the 5G and the coronavirus? Uh, I am of the opinion from day one, I came to this conclusion that the coronavirus, or what they call, I think they call it COVID 19, and I don't know why they choose 19. Strange, eh? Not 18 and not 20, 19. Strange, eh? Anyhow, that's a subject for someone else, not me. Um, I came to the conclusion that this is a fabricated or manufactured virus. Yes, it's there, but it was concocted in some laboratory. Yes, it has certain dangerous qualities about it, and we must take appropriate precaution. I'm not saying to be to disregard it altogether. No, take appropriate precaution. Okay, but I one of the first comments that I made is that this is not the this is in preparation for the real thing, which is still to come, and they are using this virus to demonstrate their capacity to lock down the whole world. And every government has complied. Every government. Who is ruling us today? Not our governments. No. It is the mastermind who orders the governments, and they must all obey. All obey. A girl cannot be married until she's 18, and every single one of them must obey. Illa masha Allah. Illa masha Allah means that there are some exceptions. Okay? There are some exceptions who did not obey. Illa masha Allah. And so I expect that there is a worse virus which is going to come. This one has not killed the millions and millions and hundreds of millions. This one has not done that. They plan their plans and Allah plans his plans. But the next one which is coming could do it, could wipe out the Arabs. We know that's the master plan, to wipe out the Arabs. Our Prophet has warned coronavirus, but it is not a direct relationship, not a strategic relationship. It is a peripheral relationship, but Allah knows best. Next question.
Okay. How? Okay. Post-virus era, and what should we do?
Post virus Iran,
Era.
or
Post-virus
the
time.
first virus era. The post virus era is one in which you should now be thinking, where are those parts of the earth where people who worship the one God were successful in preventing the lockdown, and therefore they were able to perform their Salatul Jummah. Hmm? If they could do it this time, and we have already lost Salatul Jummah for so many weeks, we've already lost it, and we cannot defy them. We don't have the military power to defy them. Hmm? And this is of course, a bogus Salatul Jummah. Bogus Salatul Jummah. It is a joke that when you are limited to only 5 or 10 people, that's all. That's a bogus. That is not a valid Salatul Jummah. That is a bogus Salatul Jummah. And shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you for not being able to recognize. You cannot have a valid Salatul Jummah if you are restricting the number of people who can participate. It's better not to have the Salatul Jummah rather than to have a bogus Salatul Jummah. Secondly, you cannot have a Salat bil Jama'ah with people standing away from each other, 3, 4, 5 feet away from each other. It is better not to have a Salat bil Jama'ah than to have a bogus Salat bil Jama'ah. It is a shame. It is a disgrace. You should be ashamed of yourself for what you have done. Hmm? I don't know where you got your brains. Is this Salat bil Jama'ah? Huh? Better not to have it than to have a bogus Salatul Jummah if you have the sense in your head. So then look to see which parts of the world people were able to perform the Salatul Jummah, like Yemen, for example. And in preparation for the next time they come with their lockdown, you start to move to those parts of the world where you will not be subjected to this lockdown. That is the world of freedom. And this is the world of slavery where they can lock you down. You can't even leave your home. In order to leave your home, you have to get their permission. You have to have a pass. That is slavery. This time, they use the excuse of a virus. Next time, they might use, Israel to rule the world. I want to give this advice to you. This is my advice to look to those parts of the world where it is possible to continue to have the Salatul Jummah and the Salat bil Jama'ah for Muslims, and prepare yourself to make hijrah. Thank you. Any more questions?
Lots more questions.
Then one more. We have time for one more.
So, how about you tell them that we've noted all the questions
Yeah.
and we'll upload a separate session
Okay.
to answer them.
My daughter is telling me that she's taking the note of all the questions. You have so many questions, and we will have subsequent sessions, and we'll try to keep it longer. This one is already about almost 48 minutes long. I don't want it to be too long, okay? And your questions will be answered in these sessions. We have the whole of Ramadan. Don't be afraid. We'll answer your questions. So we take one more for today.
Okay, one more for today. This one who is very. When would be the right time to move to the remote areas, to quit our jobs, and to start off the simple life?
It is already. The question is, when should we leave the cities and relocate in the remote countryside? When should we do that? My answer is you should have already done that. You should have already made some preparations at least. Build a hut, build a hut somewhere in the remote countryside. Have some land where you can keep some animals. If you have not as yet bought any animals, go ahead and do it now. It's already late. Hmm? Don't ask me about the future because I'm saying it's already late now. Okay? Take your paper money, take your electronic money out of the bank. Don't keep it in paper and electronic money. Transfer it from paper and electronic, transfer it to land, transfer it to animals, mm, to gold and to silver. And if you have no money, then you have to form a team and go to seek help from those who have some money. Okay? And if you do not know how to take care of animals, then you will have to go and look for someone who has that knowledge. And you buy your animals and let him take care of the animals. And when he takes care of the animals, then you pay him a small amount to cover his work. Uh, I'm going to make an announcement, inshallah, that I would like to establish. It's an important matter. I want to establish an institute of Islamic eschatology in Pakistan. This is where I got my knowledge of Islam in Pakistan. So I have to return something to Pakistan. I've tried to make the effort in Malaysia, but it has not succeeded. Okay. So the project on Malaysia is going to be now transformed into a resort, and we'll seek to establish the Institute of Islamic Eschatology in Pakistan, maybe in the north of Pakistan, beautiful part of Pakistan. But when we establish that Institute of Islamic Eschatology, and students can now come from any part of the world you want to come, and there'll be no limit to the number who can come. We simply say, okay, we give you a tent or we give you a hut. You will have to build it yourself, and you do your own cooking of your own food. So tell your mother to teach you how to cook. hmm. But all those who are there studying Islamic eschatology, in addition to any other subjects, will also have to learn how to plant food. You will have to learn how to take care of animals because this is essential knowledge for Akhirul Zaman. So prepare yourself if you want to come to study with me. You're going to have to spend some time every morning out there in the fields to learn agriculture and learn dairy farming. So, yes, I already said to you, it's already time, it's already late. Go ahead now and look for the remote countryside. Establish small communities. Small communities. If you cannot establish a community of your own, well, then go to an existing village. Okay? There are millions of existing villages. There must be beautiful villages in Morocco, beautiful villages in Algeria, in the remote countryside, beautiful villages in Tunisia and Libya and Egypt in the remote countryside. Huh? Beautiful, small communities. But when you go to a village to seek to live in the village with them, learn to live the way the villagers live, eat the food that they eat, live in houses like their houses, and don't go with an extravagant lifestyle in the village. They won't accept you. Okay? And if you're not in the Arab world or in the Muslim world, like in the Balkans, a village which has Muslims and Christians living together as a family. In India, a village which has Muslims and Hindus living together as a family. If Hindus and Muslims can live together as a family, then it will demonstrate that it was not true that Muslims and Hindus are two separate nations and they cannot live together. So they must part. If you are able to do it, you'll disprove that thesis, okay? So all over India, you can defy Modi and his gang of thugs. That is the government of India today. Defy them because there are Hindus who are good people. There are Hindus who are intelligent people who are not going to be taken for a ride by this bloodthirsty government. And so Hindus and Muslims can live together in small communities in India, in the remote countryside, and live together as a family. The small communities are strategically better than the big ones. The small ones are more difficult for them, for the enemy. They prefer to have everybody in one big conglomeration because that's easier for them to control. This is enough for today. And inshallah, may Allah bless you in this Ramadan and accept your fasting and accept your Salatul Taraweeh and accept your sadaqat. Give some food every day. Give some food from the food that you're eating. Give it to the poor and accept your tilawatul Quran. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.